Jay from Team DMA coming at you with another video. So this video is going to be relatively small, short, and sweet, but it's going to be covering what I didn't cover on the last video, which was the extra deck. Just a few examples of extra deck boss monsters that you can put in the Dark Magician. Even though there's hundreds of different types of monsters, you can put not just Dark Magician decks, it could be any deck that exists. You can put as many boss monsters as you want, but just finding a way to summon it quickly together with comboing off with your cards and comboing off with the rest of your extra deck like your Fusion, XYZ, and your Link monsters, we're going to be looking at some options. So the first one we're going to be doing is the budget version. Now, the budget version, some of the cards are also on the expensive version, and then some of the expensive are also on the budget. But the reason why I separated them was because of prices. People are not, for the most majority, people are not smart enough to make a good investment, and that's just very common knowledge. You know, even in my channel, as I make hundreds and hundreds of dollars with these cards, there's a lot of people who never made even a dollar. So you don't really have to do nothing, you just have to profit from it. So because of that, I'm aware a lot of people don't take advantage. So that's why I'm going to separate it in two sections. So the first one is going to be the budget for the extra deck monsters for the Dark Magician deck, and then it's going to be covering um, just different types. Like I said, both monsters and extra deck. So um, we're gonna start off by the budget. The budget is gonna be relatively easy, and we're gonna go very fast with it. So with the Dark Magician deck, your boss monster, in case you didn't know, is Dark Magician off the bat. So even though it sounds stupid and it doesn't make sense, it is an actual fact. If you see my tier 0 and tier 1 duels, mainly the times that I win are when I play my combos together, making Dark Magician the boss monster, because at this point, no boss monster can stop it. You know, even if you were to play like an Agnister or anything, there are so many ways, like me and Z Holy made decks, that you can easily go past 8 to 9,000 of attack, like easily. There's so many cards in the Dark Magician deck that you can just include one card and automatically you can out anything that exists. Even if a card's 1,000, 100,000 attack, there's other cards that can go past that, and people are gonna say that's stupid. It's not real. Yeah, there is. There is. You just don't know. But they're very simple cards, and they basically help Dark Magician boost up. So he's definitely the go-to when it comes to the boss monster, and I can say for myself, most, if not all, of the duels that I went are with Dark Magician. Not with Dragoon, not with nothing. Is with him, because sometimes they shut off your access to get those cards. Sometimes you can't play spells. Sometimes you can't use your extra deck. And most of those duelists are the fake duelists, especially in Dark Magician. Almost everyone's a fake Dark Magician player because they don't show you the duels where they can't special summon from the extra deck. They don't show you the duels where you can't use your spells. And they don't show you that because they lose. So the videos are rigged. Now for me, I show you the videos where I can't use spells, I can't use traps, I can't special summon, I can't use my extra deck, and I still win. So because of that, you need to have access to a boss monster in your own deck. So Dark Magician is probably the best one. The second option here for the budget would definitely be Eladium Oracle Mahar. So if you don't know what he does, you could just read it on there. And then you have the Blackluster Soldier and also the Chaos Sorcerer. And basically they're Chaos monsters removing a light and dark from the graveyard, and they can come out and remove a card on the field. So for the budget, it works very well. So moving on from there, you can go on to the links. So the links, good boss monsters, and people are gonna argue and say Celine's not a boss monster. She is, because she can revive any spellcaster from the graveyard, and if you have boss monsters that are spellcasters, they can come back. A good example would be like a Dragoon. So it is a boss monster because it's an extension. If you take her out, you will see how much weaker the deck is, and then your boss monsters that go to the graveyard do not come back. Especially some of my combos, people don't know that I purposely link after they pop my Eternal Soul. What I do is I'll summon her, and then in my opponent's turn, I'll utilize her like Eternal Soul. Even though Eternal Soul is not there, I still have Eternal Soul because she does the same thing, right? Special summons the boss monsters from the graveyard spellcasters. So moving on from there, another budget one is Blackluster Soldier of Chaos. So he's the one for the links. So this card was $2 like forever. I think I gave like 13 or 14 of these copies away already, and they're currently going up in price because people didn't want to listen to me. I think right now they're anywhere from $5 to $10 per copy. They could be going up in price more and more as time passes by, but they were like $1 or $2 and nobody cared, right? So yeah, he's a good boss monster to have in the budget. Another good boss monster would be Naruto, making it with 2 level 6. It can omni negate a spell or trap once per turn. Then you have the number 11i, Big Eye. And even though the price went up a little, the prices have gone down again, but they were only $2-3. So the other card, a good boss monster, is Ebon, Illusion Magician. So he's a pretty good boss monster. You can read his effect on there, and it can bring other monsters out to the field and get the job done, especially in the budget. A lot of the budgets, they have this card as a mandatory. It's just there. Another example of a cheap budget monster is the Synchro. There's a lot of them, but this one's a good one, Chinny. So you can read the effect there, but basically he can come out, and since the hand traps are very cheap, he can come out with the Dark Magician, and it's pretty good. It's a pretty good boss monster. Pretty broken actually, and it works in the Sorcerer, and it can work in the Dark Magician. I've summoned it before. It's pretty broken. You just have to know how to play it. Another example is Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight. He's a good boss monster. Another example of a boss monster in the budget is Quintet Magician. And then you have the Super Poly targets for the boss monsters. Both Dragonstopedia and the Starving Venom is also an excellent choice for boss monsters. So all of these monsters are for the budget version, which are $5 or less for the monsters. Some of these monsters I even give them away for free, and I still do today. So moving on onto some higher rank monsters. Now when you get into the top tier or the expensive version, the variety gets even wider because you have a lot of broken boss monsters, especially when you fuse decks. But I don't want to elaborate too much or go too much in depth. I just want to show overall examples of some good boss monsters. So starting off the list in the deck for a good boss monster, even though people argue and they say no, they hate the card, no one wants to buy it. Nobody wanted to buy it when they were $1, and then when they became 15 to 20, people wanted to buy them but couldn't afford it. Is Bestial Dressworm. So I've always told people this is a good boss monster, and it's a staple. If you don't have this card in your Dark Magician deck, it's one of the major reasons why you're not able to win your duels. And people will say like, well, that just sounds stupid. And in reality, I wouldn't say that's stupid at all. Actually, that's one of the reasons why you're losing, because Dressworm has the ability to remove a light or a dark from either graveyard. It can come out, and then it can attack, and it can become kamikaze, kill itself, pop a card, and then you can also play. It also plays around the Eternal Soul, popping it, and this comes for defense. There's nothing they can do. If they hit it, you'll just hit one of the monsters. In my combos, when I go against tier 1 and tier 0s, what I do is I'll bring it out, I'll stop the attack of the monster attacking, and then when it's destroyed, the monster that hasn't attacked yet, I pop that one. So basically my life points are untouched, and I took care of 2 monsters with 1 card. And that doesn't even include the rest of my cards. You still have 5-6 more cards, right? And that's where you see my combos take over on tier 0 decks, where I'm doing over like 13 to 18 combos in one turn. Like one card's chaining, that one special's chain. Like it starts becoming really violent, very crazy. By the time you notice, you already have somewhere around 9 negates, and Dark Magician has been doing that since 2020. If you don't believe me, see my videos. A lot of people think that my videos are new and like my deck is new and all that. All of those things are lies. Pretty soon it's gonna be 4 years old, my deck. It's the same deck, hasn't changed. So yeah, so it's the same combos. It's a very old deck and it works fine. It can beat any first place nationals very easily. And of course the deck wins 80% of the duels, but for a budget deck you can't beat it. So yeah, this guy is a must. Now you might be wondering, like, show us a good example of this card shining through, you know? Okay, so I had a lot of Zeus, Arsenal Zeus, and what happened was I sold them all because I'd rather get all the money from the Zeus and incorporate this that I bought for $1. I bought, I think, 3 places, like 9 of them. They were $1 each, and I turned around and I sold the Zeus for about $12. I'm sorry, 12. I bought it. I got it for 8 to 12, I think, when I bought them, but the price skyrocketed to $30. So I sold them all. So I made easily over like $200 to $300 on all my Zeus, the Arsenal. Um, the what's the Thunder? Sky Thunder. Yeah, I made a lot of money on them, and I substituted for the $1 cards, which is Drissworms. When I told everybody they were $1, nobody wanted to listen. So what this does is they have their arsenal. So when they attack, you special and defense. So they're gonna either choose to attack or not. So during your turn, you change it to attack, and you go kamikaze on their Zeus. So they can choose to activate the effect to blow everything up or not. It doesn't matter because when it goes to the graveyard, you're gonna pop the Zeus anyway. So this outs a Zeus. So Zeus, even though it's $30, it's trash compared to this. This $1 card can beat it any day or night. It can beat it. $1 card. And right now the cards went as low as $4 to $5. So you need one of these in your deck as a staple. Also, when you activate your skill drain, this can get rid of anything else, a Dragoon or anything that exists. And that's some of the combos that I play on my duo. Like people are wondering like, why is he so successful? That's why, because I know all the Dark Magician combos. Like I think I sat down and I came up with 180 different combos in my deck. And I'm sure that I can sit down again, I can pull a lot more. But yeah, he's definitely staple in the Dark Magician. If you can put it in your budget, excellent. If you want to put it on your extra deck, on your side deck, do it. But I would advise to at least having one in your main. He doesn't hurt the deck. He can fuse to Dragoon. There's just so many combos to Dragon Knight. He has really good combos. Also, there can only be one. The opponent is frozen, and you still have access to dragons. You could just Merc it, or even the Dragon Knight is well to play with the only can be one because you have a dragon and a spellcaster, right? And you've seen my nasty combos where it's banishing and sending Dark Magician back, and the back row is protected, so it's pretty broken. Then the other boss monster, the one that everyone loves, but is actually one of the weakest, is Dragoon. He's a boss monster that was about $8 to $10, and I told everyone to buy it. No one wanted to, and then the cards went up to 25 to 30. Now everybody's asking for one. I sold 3 copies last month and two copies this month, and I still have 3 people requesting 3 copies again. But the problem is they can't afford it because now they're 20 to 25. It's not a lot of money, but people have to remember that's a lot of money for some people, you know. So that's why you should buy the cards when they're cheaper. So another good example of a boss monster, if you've seen my AC 130, I incorporate Circle Eternal with Dragon Knight and Dark Magician, and then it also has in the combo the Scareclaw effect. So what happens is nothing can target it, everything goes on defense, and I'm just banishing everything in my back row is protected. So it's like a multi-combo. I think if you count the total outs, the Dragon Knight, that's a negate because you can't get rid of him and you can't get rid of the back row. So those cards in your hands are bricks, they're dead. You have them, but they do nothing. So those are similar to negates or interruptions. And then the Eternal to keep interrupting with the Dark Magician and the Circle. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then with this one, it's like 4. So even though the cards they're no good, like they suck, they're cheap, it doesn't matter. There's about 2-3 negations and 2-3 interruptions, and there's really nothing you can do. A lot of people, what they do also in the combo, people add back row protection to negate anything that would go wrong. But I mean, a lightning vortex feather, and none of those things work. The only thing that would out it is the kaiju, but you're wasting your time because it's gonna come back onto the field, remember, because Eternal's gonna bring them back. So they're really just wasting your time. And a lot of people don't have kaijus at that point because you already had like 6 other boss monsters, so they kaiju 1 or 2, but they still have to deal like with 13 other boss monsters. And that's what I do in my deck. I have a high number of boss monsters. Like there's somewhere around, I think, like 7 to 10 boss monsters. So it's like you get rid of one, there's 9 more. So they don't have enough kaijus. The only way to do it is to have 10 kaijus or more. But you see me do kaiju decks, and kaiju decks have around 14, and they still can't stop my deck. So that goes to show you another good boss monster is Axis Code Talker. So he's considered the top of the line, like superior. Like a lot of people consider him to be at the peak. There's no one higher than him. And even though that is true, he is weak to skill drain, and I've never had issues with him. I can get him out of there immediately. He's really nothing the AC-130, but a good example of a boss monster is Access Code Talker. So he was as low as $28 and nobody wanted to buy them. At a point, they were as low as 25 and I bought a few of them, then I resold them. And now I just have, I think, two gold. So he's a good monster to have. You can also pop itself and pop cards on the field, like skill drain and things. But you can also do that with, a lot of people don't know that you can actually do that with Dracossack, Phantom Beast Dracossack. You can do that with that card as well. You just activate the ability to pop itself and you pop a card, so when it leaves the field it's not negated and it does what you want it to do. And that's pretty much it. Hopefully you liked the video. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know in the comments down below. And this was, like I said, a video followed up to my AC-130 that I finally revealed because a lot of people wanted to see it. That is the actual profile. I have the extra deck and the side deck, and even though this is not the actual extra deck, is some of the monsters that are in there, but I did break it down in two sections, giving you the budget version of options and also top tier budget of options. And there's somewhere around 16 to 17 more monsters, but I did not want to include them in this video. So with that having been said, take care, God bless, and Dark Magic Attack.